How do you deal with hard, tragic news? Maybe you're just trying to process it, even when maybe you don't know anybody involved, but it kind of hits you. I get that it's specific, right? It's specific to what has happened. But in the context of the news that most of us got today, of hearing that Stephen Twitch Bones is no longer present, and to have that news of someone that maybe we didn't know him personally, most likely we didn't know him personally, but he was an entertainer, he was famous, he looked like he had it all together. He brought smiles to our faces, especially during the time of COVID. He made all of those amazing dancing videos. And we look from the outside looking in and we think, wow, he's got it all together. And in this moment, how do we process that? And that first thing here is to go, wait a minute, we really don't know what people are going through, what struggle internally is happening, and that we need to have empathy with those. But then it also okay, well then how do we continue to process? How do we deal with that news beyond going, I have empathy for those who are directly impacted? It then makes us question, right? Hopefully, it makes us question our own relationships, of reaching out. Who are we connected to that we think may be okay? Or we think they are the strong ones? What connections do we maybe neglect? And to have this moment of going, okay, what are the relationships I need to invest in, that I need to begin to show up for? Who do I need to show up for? And that's something really important and can be very hard in the culture we live in that is all about busyness and time consuming and work. I'll deal with it later, of going, okay, wait a minute, I need to invest. I need to show up for others. And what are those relationships we think are important enough to show up for? Because when we maybe start to cancel showing up for lunch or dinner or something, we cancel plans, or maybe we don't answer the text or the phone call. What connections are we letting fall apart that maybe really need to stay strong? So when we hear this tragic news, it's about taking stock of our own relationships and how we're showing up for others, how we're listening and encouraging. And especially in this kind of season of Christmas, where Christmas is all about God being present in a child, of being present in Christ. And what we have to know is God is love, and God's presence of love is made perfect in Jesus. And so to think about that, of how are we living into that presence of love with one another? How are we allowing that connection to happen? And so when we have to deal with this tragic, hard news, and we have to process it for ourselves when we don't know the other person or anybody involved, of going, wait a minute, I need to take stock for myself. How am I loving others? How am I showing up for others? Because that is love. So may you figure out how you want to invest love into your relationships today.